Welcome back. Da, 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 da.
I don't remember. Is it Kyle? Welcome back,
yes,
Kyle.
Oh my God.
You're going to have to work on that.
Welcome back to Mammoth TV. I am Pamela Doritis.
I'm Kyle Rollins.
And we are here to help you out with all of your digital marketing and branding needs. Today's topic is market intelligence and funnel optimization, which is a subset of business intelligence, which is a term you've probably seen thrown around quite a lot online, in print, etc. And Kyle's going to help us understand the whole gamut of what you need to know as a small business or even a bigger business working on your data science efforts. So, welcome, Kyle.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's great to be back, and thank you for joining us again. We were on hiatus for a little while, and now Mammoth TV is full steam ahead, so we're going to be bringing you lots of content, but let's get right into the data science. So let's just start with, what is market intelligence?
Yeah, so you already mentioned some of it. There's business intelligence, or BI, and marketing intelligence is a kind of relatively new subset of BI because it's really evolved out of the new MarTech stuff coming out and all the devices we're seeing, especially mobile.
Yes.
Right? So we've got devices collecting data for business use and for marketers' use at a faster rate than ever. And we don't have the people to analyze the data. We're not even there yet. We're not even to the analysis and interpretation part. This has been going on, you just told me, since data analysis has been going on since, what, the 60s?
Yeah.
But marketing intelligence has really started once websites got out here and marketers started trying to understand Google Analytics. Yeah. There's a big gap in analytics. There's the free end, where you have things like Google Analytics and whatever your web provider might give you. And then on the high end, you've got Omniture, Adobe, Google Premium, very expensive enterprise things that cost lots of money.
Right.
So what's happened now with MarTech and people using things like Pardots, which integrates marketing information on your site with Salesforce, and a lot of B2B marketers are looking top of funnel. They're trying to figure out what a conversion looks like and what leads look like and where the impressions come from and how to segment their impressions and all these sort of things. You start building out a three-dimensional funnel. And right now we're working with all these in spreadsheets. Yeah. So most marketers in B2B world who hearing what I'm talking about are using Pardot and Salesforce, they know what I'm talking about. They're in spreadsheet hell. Yeah. Right? So marketing intelligence is kind of a new industry that's tackling this and trying to visualize the data.
Is it fair to say that market intelligence is data science just applied to your marketing efforts?
It is.
I mean, is that it in a nutshell?
It is.
Okay.
Here's why it's new, though. You think about marketing people in general. Yeah, and we're not going to totally stereotype here, but most people join marketing on the creative side. Yeah. Yeah, they're thinking about jingles, and they watched Mad Men too many times, and they think about, what's this going to look like, and how's it going to feel, and those are very valuable things for UX. The empath and being able to have empathy and understand what users are doing is hugely valuable right now in marketing. Take the flip side of that, and if you want to be data driven, we've now got all this data about what people are doing. We don't have the people who have the statistician background, the mathematics background, the science background to analyze it and make interpretations that are meaningful so you can be data driven. Right. So what we're trying to do is help marketers who got into marketing for all the creative reasons be in a world where they can stay creative and see the data out of a spreadsheet in a visual way. And that's what the art of, so that's the data visualization piece. But to answer it fully, there's other parts of that. We're collecting the data, and that's really what big data was. That was a big buzzword a couple of years ago, right? We've moved on past big data. I'd say it's kind of mature now. Okay. I would say, all the big vendors like Amazon and Google and things like that have their commodities, and it's easy to buy off the shelf now. Yes. So.
And when you say big data, let me just interrupt you for a second.
Good.
When you say big data, you're talking about the collection, not the analysis of it.
I am.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah. So
just want to be clear on terms, because I think a lot of people are not necessarily clear.
Yep. So big data does include analysis, but because if you're a marketer and you go to your BI team and talk about big data, they're looking at everybody. And they're probably looking more internally in product and other things that the marketing team that's looking up the funnel may not be able to talk to their internal team about. So you've got the geeky guys working on big data in IT, because that's where most of this stuff sits, or they're in operations, and they're saying, hey, I need to understand the marketing funnel and all the MarTech and all that stuff. And things start to fall apart in that conversation. So what we've been working on covertly for the last year and a half is a solution, a product. It's our first product. We've always been a consultancy and a boutique, but we're about to launch a new product and spin it off that focuses on this niche. And it's all been driven by customer feedback. It's been organic, and it's all been led by C-level executives in B2B marketing who are using Pardot, Salesforce, and those
Very good, very good. So your product will integrate with those things?
Yes, so I'll talk about the challenge real quick.
Okay.
So you can go into Google Analytics right now and see this data, see some of it. You can see what's happening on your website if it's all configured correctly. So let's just assume you have that. It's free, you're getting what you pay for, you're getting limited data. You can only see what happens once someone gets on your site. The other thing that Google does is they anonymize everything for you.
Yes.
They're paying attention to who is what, and they're tracking you when you visit my site and where you've been beforehand and after, and what you're doing on your phone and all that. They have a beautiful picture of everything you've done. Yep.
Yeah.
It may be anonymized, but you are ID'd with a hash. So that they can say that person has these behaviors and let's tailor things for them and market to them, versus this other person who has totally different set. So as a marketer, that's really valuable data. You may be a C-level marketer or a marketing manager, and you go and looking at your Google Analytics, and the first thing you're going to see is that 90% of the data in there you don't want. So how do you break through that? How do you know what you want to see and what you don't? So that's where we started.
Okay.
We've got that cracked, and we've really extracted the 10% of the Google Analytics brain you need to use and ignored the other 90%, and visualized it in a very meaningful way you're used to seeing, which is the funnel.
Interesting.
Do you know much about the funnel?
Yeah, I do. The sales funnel you're talking. Yeah, I do. But my question actually, as you're describing this new product you're working on, I'm thinking about the projects that I'm working on, that I'm building for myself, that some are actually now starting to be actual businesses where income is coming in, and some are still in the initial phases where I'm building an audience, etc. And I'm asking myself how that would apply to somebody like me who is a sole proprietor or a small business. But small businesses can absolutely take advantage of what you've got, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The small business owner is just as valuable as the C-level exec. He's got to make all his own decisions. He just doesn't have to report to anyone else.
Right.
Yeah. So part of the value we add to C-level execs is making this data digestible and easily shared and analyzed. So that you can share it with the rest of the executive team. That's a nice benefit they have, because you always got the C-level execs going, well, I need to report on what's happening.
Yeah.
And I know in my gut what's happening, but how do I put it in terms the C-level team's going to understand? And we help you do that in a very quick way. But going back to the business manager, the owner-operator, he looks at his dashboard and he can see it, and it's validating his gut, or it's saying things that he didn't know, and he's able to dig deeper. So taking that sort of view from either persona, the two next things we offer are segmentation of your funnel, which nobody's really doing very well right now, and that's looking up your funnel. So if you think of your funnel as impressions, clicks, and leads, and then conversions, you're really going up higher in the funnel above impressions and starting to segment that into where did my traffic come from.
Right. Okay.
And Google gives you limited data on that, and it's only as good as what comes in, and you have to understand things like UTM codes and how to build URLs and auto tagging to get that right.
Interesting.
Part of what our solution is doing, and what we're working on right now and hope to have done in a couple months, is it is in beta with some existing customers, and it's working well. Is the auto tagging ability to say, let's collect the data and then sort it, And that way we have the data and we can go retroactively back into the data and segment it. When I say segment, I mean, let me see, did this person who converted come from Facebook or did they come from Google?
Right.
Or was it split between the two? Did they come through Google first and then they saw a Facebook ad and then they finally converted?
So in a couple of months now, is this going to be a subscription, like a SaaS product? Or, okay.
We can't scale our team and we're kind of busting at the seams, which is why we started on it last year.
Yeah.
Is we can't
this
service enough people.
Right.
And that goes back to the problem of data scientists. We aren't really, I'm not going to get political here, but to speak openly, we aren't training our kids to be STEM kids. We're focusing on football and all that stuff I love, so I'm not going to hate. Right. But as a kid whose father taught math and got a PhD in math from tech, I've always had respect for it.
Yeah.
And knowing that our kids aren't doing that, we're not doing it organically. On top of that, and this is where it gets slightly political, we're not accepting those people into this country anymore with H-1B1 visas. We're sending some signals that you're not so welcome.
Right.
I'll leave that there.
Yeah.
And we're putting devices out now that are collecting more amounts of data and harvesting it into big data than we can keep up with. Even if we had a growing amount of STEM kids and the progressive hiring policies and visas and that sort of thing. So we can't keep up. We need to change the trajectory of who's getting into this business if we're going to solve it.
Agreed.
Or we need to have a SaaS solution.
Or both.
That's affordable.
I mean, both, yeah. It's well, you've just started a political firestorm. Even so. Okay, so let's step back a little bit and talk about how market intelligence relates specifically to the sales funnel.
Yeah, so we did talk about Google Analytics or site analytics telling you what's happening on your site.
Yes.
And that's limited. So when you start going and trying to integrate your social channels or your campaign-driven channels, my AdWords, my Facebook, my Twitter, Instagram, those sort of things, LinkedIn, big one for B2B marketers, you have to start pulling their data, and they use different terms. Have you ever looked at analytics or insights on Facebook posts for your own stuff?
Yep.
Have you noticed they use the word impressions pretty loose, or your impressions look really impressive?
Right.
Yeah, like how did I get 5 billion impressions, but no one clicked on anything?
Right.
Yeah, that's because they have a totally different definition of what that is.
Yeah.
Than everybody else. So that brings up something called normalization of data.
Okay.
So if you are a B2B marketer and you're in spreadsheet hell, you pulled all this data because your boss told you to, and you're looking at these columns and you're saying, how do I make sense of this? You're not alone. We've taken a very unique approach to this, and we've normalized the social channels and the campaign channels you use, which is where I think big data is stopped. I think now we know how to store it. The next we need to know how to do is normalize it so we can compare and analyze it. And only once we've stored it and we've normalized it, then we can interpret. And most people in marketing make the mistake of being told, go get the data and analyze it.
Right.
They're not analysts most of the time. And if they're sort of semi-analysts or they love math and they've taken statistics and they enjoy it, they're still at a loss because they haven't thought about, well, how do I standardize all these different dashboards when they're all proprietary?
Right.
So there is a project that Google started called schema.org, and the big search engines are in it. It's called structured data. We're in the process of, and when I say we, all SEO guys and marketers are in the process of trying to structure public data on a common schema so it is normalized.
Yes.
But what we've done as our product is taken those data pieces out of the APIs of your social channels, pulled it in, and normalized it. That way it can be analyzed and you can look at campaign data. So now I can look at my website and look up the funnel in my campaigns and see how they're doing.
So schema.org normalizes the data?
Schema.org is the website where you can read about how you should do it for websites.
Got it, okay.
And we're just at the beginning of starting to think about how should we normalize data as a team?
Right.
Is it proprietary or is it open?
Right.
And we're building a proprietary thing because there is no open standard. But part of what we're talking about as a team is how do we partner up with other analytics vendors and standardize this so that we can all work openly and together.
Great.
Which brings me to my last point. So now you've got your website, you've got or my last point on this subject, this question. You've brought in the data, you've normalized it, the data from your campaigns and your vendors. But what about the MarTech vendors that you use, like Pardot, Salesforce, Terminus, things like that? These are all companies that have their own data about other things you're doing that are non-social. And they have their own subsets and reporting dashboards.
Non-social meaning like?
Yeah, so Terminus is a local company that does account-based marketing. They let you show ads to your target accounts. So if you say, well, these are my top 100 law firms I'm targeting, they can help you show ads to those people at those companies. Okay. That's a really valuable tool. Yeah. But how do you integrate it into your overall marketing when it's not one of the more well-known social channels? Right. And Pardot, which integrates with Salesforce, has a bunch of reporting. But how do you make sure all this stuff talks to Google Analytics and to Facebook and all these other channels? Okay. So what we've done is consolidated that and normalized it, so then you can analyze.
Well, no wonder you've been so busy.
It's fun. It's super fun. What's really exciting is you're taking a really complex problem and simplifying it. And I think I probably said this before, the old Mark Twain quote. I didn't have time to read the short version, so here's the long one instead. We're taking time with existing clients to find the short version, so that you can have a live dashboard with an executive summary to present and share with the rest of the team.
Oh, I'm really excited about seeing this.
So far, the best part is showing existing customers what we've been working on and giving them a demo and pulling their data for them and kind of cleaning it up and saying, and they just like, I have to have this. That's a great sign as a new product, and it's just fun.
And that's a great position to be in for you. I mean, you are the solution.
We hope so.
Yeah.
A Mammoth one?
Finally. You're all week, folks.
I've been waiting for that.
I will not tip you.
I've been working on that for 3 years. We finally have one Mammoth solution.
And I am the poor sap who got settled with it. All right, moving on. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming up. What's the future? We did talk a little bit about that, but give me a more detailed sense of what you think is coming up with this.
Yeah, I think you're looking at different types of people who want to look at this data. I think agencies are looking for a white label solution to share with their clients, so that reporting is taken out of the fun creative side. I think creative agencies will love this because they can put their brand on it. They can own it, they can give their own domain, they can let customers see things, and they don't have to waste time doing this stuff. I think B2B marketers will love it because because we've already started working on custom integrations, we're going to have a group of MSPs, managed service providers. Mammoth will be the first one. But if you get the solution and you need help with your specific piece and your specific funnel and how to paint that, because you've got something different for your industry, we're going to have MSPs that can come on as the consultants and pair with you on a project to make sure you paint your funnel properly.
Interesting. Okay.
And then we've got all these ongoing custom visualization pieces.
Great.
But I do think that the future overall, outside of that, is, and we touched on this before, but the growing amounts of data and the lack of data scientists means there has to be an off-the-shelf solution that people can get, because let's face it, we're not going to force enough people to get into math and be interested in this and geek out about what we have.
Right. Okay, so next question that immediately comes to mind is, can any company do this? Can any company set up a market intelligence division, practice, specialist within the company?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people trying to do this right now, both internally and other competitors. I obviously don't want to encourage anybody, so I'm going to be biased and just go ahead and disclaim that because I want to take over the market. But I'll tell you how we're unique, and talk about how BI units are struggling with this. As soon as you get into painting your own funnel or building your own custom analytics solution, you start to find out that everyone else's approach has been to talk to all the existing APIs and pull the data from them and then
like
put it...
Facebook API, and Google Analytics,
they're all
whatever.
public. Some of them you have to pay for, like Twitter. Some of them you don't. But once they pull the data into their own warehouse, then they love to spend time analyzing it and geeking out. And then they've got to figure out what sort of visualization stuff to use, because typically with BI, there's been a lot less of the visualization, or you're using something really expensive like Tableau, right? Tableau is a very expensive license for adding data visualization on top of your BI.
Right.
So when looking at that, we believe everyone doing that has a flawed approach because the data has not been normalized. They've skipped a step.
Right.
They're trying to normalize data that's been given to them in a way that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Facebook has their proprietary versions of CPMs and all these kind of things that don't match up.
Right.
What we've done is we've introduced our own analytics at the point of clicks between the campaigns and the website, and then run everything on the website. So we can look up funnel, and we can see what's happening when someone clicks and where they're coming from, and do things like, you heard of Kickfire?
No.
So they tell you, it's great for B2B. What they tell you is who's on your website and what company they work for. So you can, before someone fills out a form and says, hey, I'm Bob and I'm from law firm A, you can see, hey, law firm A is in our target list and they're on our site.
That's only if they're browsing from the office, right? I mean,
yeah. So yes and no.
Okay.
As long as you can say with enough certainty that that person's device belongs to them and they work there, then you can get creative with it. And I'm going to leave it at that, since we're doing something different than what Kickfire and Lead Forensics and all those guys are doing.
Okay.
But yes, it depends on, do you have the right data? That's one of the things we hope to solve as well that we haven't even talked about. Maybe we'll do that in a future session, but the whole reverse IP lookup is what that's called.
Oh, yeah.
So if you look at reverse IP lookup, yes, it needs to be their office or something like that.
Okay.
We're going to go beyond that, but that's in early stage development.
Okay.
So having all this data about them at the point of click, what channel they came from, that sort of stuff is really meaningful. And because we're collecting it, we've got it normalized when it comes in. And that's harder to do.
So you do the normalization as it's coming in?
We've created our own analytics script that will collect data for us. It's not us pulling third-party data and then aggregating it. We're collecting the data the way we want it natively.
Interesting.
Interesting. So
I'll
that's...
have to ask you more about that offline.
It's fun.
Totally different. It sounds compelling.
We hope so.
But
because it's your data. Think about this from the marketer's perspective. Well, wait a minute. Google's anonymized everything, and I've got to pay a vendor $300 to $500 a month to tell me what data, who's on the website, on top of paying for this other solution, on top of paying for these ads, and then I got to pay somebody to analyze it, but they're a marketer and they don't want to, and now I'm spending hours every month in spreadsheet hell.
Right.
We think that's a significant value proposition. To not just throw in a couple $100 a month, but to take over a small part of your budget and really give you more data to make meaningful decisions.
Okay, but let me, you might notice I'm furrowing my brow. Because so hearing you say all this, it sounds fantastic from the marketer's point of view. But as a consumer, as somebody who uses Facebook and uses LinkedIn and uses my smartphone, which my timer is still not going on. My smartphone is not so smart. As a consumer of all these services and products, what about my privacy? This just sounds way off the charts to me. So I'm going to play both roles, because I am a marketer and I'm a consumer. And as a consumer, I take it very seriously. Not to say that I don't as a marketer, but I want the data as a marketer. So the EU is very progressive about human rights and data. They believe your data privacy is a human right. So when you go to a website that has stuff in the EU, you'll see a warning that says, hey, this is what we're collecting. We're going to take that approach.
We're going to go with full disclosure on everything. We're going to make sure that our customers, when they use our solution, have an up-to-date privacy policy. Right now, they leave it to you to fall on your own face and say, well, we know that we have to go put this in the privacy policy, but we're not going to let people run this without an up-to-date privacy policy. So that way, we are ensuring that our customers have disclosed everything that's being collected to people. Whether they want to browse the site or have cookies turned on or not is going to be up to them. But just so you know, this data is already out there on you. It's just divided and not organized, and all we're doing is cleaning it up. That's the business side of me now putting on my marketer's hat and saying, we're just making it clean.
Understood. And so my criminal enterprises will soon be organized and analyzed and more apparent to the authorities, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So I would like to actually close with a parting thought, but
before we do that, can I say one last thing?
Oh, of course, yeah.
If you're interested in your data privacy like I am, I want everybody to watch Citizen 4 on HBO on Ed Snowden. And if you watch that and understand what our people are collecting on us and what marketers are collecting on us and where it's going, it's really interesting. And again, I'm not trying to get political.
Yeah.
What the story being told about the amount of metadata out there on people to build context, take it out of politics, it's fascinating. I can sit here, and because I use my GPS to get over here on Waze and I opted in for all that, the NSA and everybody can see that I'm not at my house, and they can see when I'm going to leave on a regular pattern, and they can say with almost 100% certainty on a daily basis, they know when I'm going to be at home and when I'm not, and when I'm awake and when I'm not, and what my patterns are, and the amount of risk removed from being able to do things with that data is phenomenal. So I'm just saying, I just want to do it as a marketer, and help you get better.
Of course,
you as a marketer get better messaging to your clients, and for clients to get better communications from target.
Yeah, as with any technology, it can be used for good or evil. I mean, that's the bottom line with any human endeavor, I think.
So as a brand, the promise we're making is the old adage that says 50% of my marketing is waste, and I just don't know which 50%. Our promise as a brand is to end that conversation.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. We want your marketing to be so targeted. That's why you've invested so much in digital marketing and MarTech. But now it's just the discipline and the tools to get it so that you're cutting that waste down to hopefully less than 10%. That's our goal.
And if the NSA is listening, you know what kind of chocolate chip cookies I like, so I expect a delivery at my door.
Yeah, I want a coupon. Marketers.
Okay, after all of this, we've discussed data privacy, how marketers are using this information, how the NSA might use this information, what market intelligence is, how it relates to your sales funnel, how Kyle's company, Mammoth Solutions, is implementing this kind of market intelligence. We've covered lots of topics here, and I just want to end with a quote. You mentioned earlier that I told you that data science has been around since the 1960s. So before this shooting of this video, I did a little checking around to see about the history of data science, because I'm not a data scientist. And I just find it, interesting. I didn't realize that it went back so far.
I didn't either.
Yeah, and actually
it started last year.
No. So here's a quote, and well, Kyle, you know the year, so I'm just going to say it. I was going to make you guess, but this is a quote from 1962. Okay, 1962. John W. Tukey, he wrote a publication called The Future of Data Analysis. So that term was around in 1962. And actually, if they were writing about it in 1962, it already existed for a while before then. So I would argue since the 1950s, this has been a thing. Here's his quote. A little bit long, but I'll get through it quickly. For a long time, I thought I was a statistician interested in inferences from the particular to the general. But as I have watched mathematical statistics evolve, I have had cause to wonder and doubt. I have come to feel that my central interest is in data analysis. Data analysis is intrinsically an empirical science. How vital and how important is the rise of the stored program electronic computer? This is from 1962. John W. Tukey, I encourage you to Google this. and Google will know if you're Googling this, but the future of data
buying
analysis.
it on Amazon.
Right,
Sales
right.
just went up.
Yeah, so the future of data analysis. Check that out. Check out Mammoth Solutions. I'm really excited for Kyle. He's got this new product coming out. You said in a couple months it'll launch?
Yeah, I think we're at a public launch in less than around 3 months.
Okay, so the air date of this episode will be late May, and so check August, September time frame.
Yeah, fall.
But you should check them out
just
anyway.
time for college football.
Right. I see.
I don't know
what
I just love college football.
And check out Mammoth Solutions. Check out Kyle. He's got a lot of exciting things on the horizon, and I'm going to put the links to everything he does, including any information that you may have out there about the new product.
Yeah.
If you do.
And I've got one more link. If anybody's interested in data science, Coursera is a free university program, and I yesterday Googled data science, and I searched it on their site, and tons of courses free came up, and I was like, Johns Hopkins data science class, I'm taking that.
Yeah.
So don't wait for somebody to give you a free college tuition. Just go into Coursera, figure it out, and get in there, because there's going to be nothing but demand for this for the foreseeable future.
I agree. So check out mammoth.solutions. That's the website. I'm also going to put the links in the description to Kyle's stuff, also to my stuff where you can find me. Thank you for joining us on this reboot, remix, matrix reboot of Mammoth TV. And we will see you next time. Thanks again for joining us.